everyone, I'm Karen Combs and welcome to my FlossTube number 13. My channel has quilting, it has quilting tutorials, it has stitching, and this, you've reached my FlossTube. It is, let me check the date, it is May 16th? Yes, Wednesday. I'm taping this, but I'm not going to upload it till probably very late on Friday evening. And I'm taping it a little early because I've got some really exciting things that I'm doing this weekend. So I wanted to get it to you. And I have been putting things together for you for like 3 days. And I've spent the last hour what we call dressing the set. And normally I film right over there, which is my design wall in my sewing studio. And today I needed an extra table to lay everything out and organize it. So I decided to sit at my sewing table, which I know you can't see. And then I have another table next to me. And behind me is actually where I have my thread. I wish it was all silk, but it's my sewing thread. And then I also have some of the feet for my sewing machine. And then you'll see some stitching things too. So maybe someday we'll do a film about my sewing room, but that's why it looks a little different, because I am coming to you from my sewing room. And you can't see, after all the time I spent, let's try like that, there we go. Can you see right up there? You can see my humming of the bees. I have just kind of perched on the top of my sewing or my thread cabinet. I haven't decided where to hang it yet, so I've got it right there. Let me just adjust this just a bit. But I want to thank you all. We are over 2,000 subscribers now. That's really exciting. And I think the last video had almost 3,700 views. So that's exciting too. Thank you. And it's like, we know you have choices when you fly, and we want to thank you. Any of you that flew for business travel for years heard that, but seriously, I want to thank you for joining me today in my FlossTube. And you might want to get some paper, something to take notes on, however you do it, whether you just do old school paper and notepad, or you do it on your iPad or whatever, because I've got a lot of things to share and you might want to write them down. Just kind of looking at my notes here. I want to thank you too for all the lovely comments. And we're going to be touching on some of those today. But I've had a busy couple of weeks, and I'm trying to do a video every 2 weeks. It keeps me on track, kind of keeps me organized, and then you know what to expect too. I'm going to try to keep doing that sometimes in the summer. If we're going to be gone, I might have to change it a little bit, but that's kind of the guideline. What's been happening is I worked a lot in my garden, and I will be putting some pictures on Instagram so you can see that. I worked in the flower garden. We already talked about the hydrangeas. They're looking very healthy. I just don't think we're going to have any blossoms this year, but worked on that. Actually, this morning I picked a whole bunch of lettuce, sugar snap peas. Oh, it's just looking so nice in the garden. But the exciting thing is in the last week, I have had, well, I'll have had 3 or 4, I think, stitchy meetups. We had the virtual guild meeting a couple of weeks ago. That was the Tudor Rose Guild, and that was a wonderful, and I think I already mentioned that last video, wonderful presentation by Katie Stratton. And then on, I got my dates here, on the 6th, no, on the 13th, finally, I was able to go up to a sit and stitch with the Music City Stitchers. I live near Nashville, about an hour south of Nashville. And they meet kind of in between, well, just south of Nashville. So it's about, with traffic, 30 to 40 minutes. And every time they're meeting, either I was gone or something was happening, and I finally was able to go up for a couple hours. They usually meet for a little longer than that. Oh, it was wonderful. So I want to thank everyone with the Music City Stitchers for welcoming me. I'll be back. It was just such a wonderful day. I just smiled all the way home after meeting with them. And then what I did yesterday is I have some quilt friends that I have known forever, and then some new quilt friends, and they have returned to cross stitch, just like I have. So still quilting, but returning to cross stitch. And we've been chatting about that, and I said, we need to start a little stitchy group of just a few of us that meets once a month. So we met at a local coffee shop yesterday. Normally there would be 6 of us, but yesterday 2 couldn't come. We had 4 of us. So we just sat at one of the tables for a couple of hours, sipped coffee, chatted. We had several people stop and ask us what we were doing. Several people said, oh, I used to cross stitch, and look at this. They wanted to know all what we were doing. So we're going to be meeting every month. And if we really like it and our schedule, it's really the schedule. If that allows, we'll do it more. But we've planned on doing it once a month. So I am so happy to be meeting in person with some stitchers. And then Saturday, which is why I can't tape Saturday, I'm going to a very special meeting, which I will fill you in next FlossTube. I can't give you details, but I'm very excited about that. That's about an hour and a half from my home. So I'm going to do that. So lots been happening. A lot is going to be happening. Very excited. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you a couple of works in progress, or as we know them, whips. We're going to look at some of the comments from last time. And then we talked about linen, some linen I received last time. And I want to show you some things I've pulled for that, some ideas. And I've got some haul. So let's start with, and I was really bad. I did not keep up with my notebook, with my book of days. So I did quickly add some things in there. So I've got some stickers. I've been writing in there what I've been working on. I've really just been working on 2 different whips. So the first one that I've been working on, which we talked about last time, this is Sarah Milthorpe, 1834. And this I received at the attic at Sampler Symposium in January. It will be released, I believe, sometime maybe in the next 6 months. But here it is. So I'm finished another line of the over one. Stand up so you can see it. And I'm working on the motif right here. And I got the motifs all above the house done. So I love that motif, the very intricate one right here. Working on that. I had to take something out and kind of fix it, so that set me back a little bit. But last video, I talked about doing the over one on the stitching, on the letters, and the Smyrna cross. And I had a couple of comments that I wanted to share with you, which were excellent. Angela Sawyer mentioned that when I was talking about doing the Algerian lace, or Algerian eyelet, changing to the Smyrna cross, let me get right here, because I said I switched it because the Algerian eyelet was just a little thick for my taste, and so I switched to the Smyrna cross, and I illustrated that last FlossTube, so that would be FlossTube number 12 if you missed that. Angela mentioned that she knew I was using the 103s silks of Verissois, and she said if you want to do the Algerian eyelet, for that you can do the Soissefine, which is a little bit finer. So I thought that was an excellent suggestion. I've decided since this was kitted, I'll just stay with this and do the Smyrna cross. But switching to the Soissefine would be an excellent idea because it's a little bit finer. So if you're finding that you're working on something and it's a little thick and you're doing a 103s, you could change to the Soissefine. So this is done on 46 count Thornfield needle and flax. I did not iron it, I'm sorry. I was getting everything else organized and did not pull out the iron. So I thought that was an excellent suggestion. And also another suggestion, Kim Edge, who was one of the very first followers I had, and thank you, Kim, for always just wonderful comments. But she mentioned that when she, well, I was talking about doing the over one, and last week, or last FlossTube talked about how going around to do the next step so it doesn't get caught underneath the linen. She said when she was doing needlepoint that she would do the same thing, and she said to herself, it's like going the long way around to do the next stitch. And I thought that's an excellent way of putting it. So if you missed the video from last time, it's episode 12 of the FlossTube, take a look at that because I break it down into how to do both of those. So that will be a help. So I want to thank them for their comments. So worked on that, and let me just, everything is so precariously balanced here. I just hope I don't have an avalanche. The other thing that I worked on, and you've seen this, and I was hoping to get it done, and I'm not quite there. So maybe by next time I'll have a finish. This is Quaker Dwelling by Kathy Barrett. I've been working on this for a little while, and I'm using the called for silks. So here they are. And these are needlepoint silks, NPI. But I am doing it on Havana, Weeks Havana, and this is 36 count. I'm just gonna stand up. So take a look, I'm getting there. So what I've got left to do is, I noticed I've got a little finish right here I've got to do. I've got to do the windows. I've got a couple little motifs to do on the side. I finished the door last night. I'm just moving this up. And I had a little doodads on the bottom there. So not that much left. Let me just back up. And that's a really good representation right there of the color. So that was a sampler with arms holding it up. So this is Quaker Dwelling. Love it. Love it. And using the MPI silks like butter. Oh, it's just wonderful. And yesterday at our meetup, I was showing the Quaker Dwelling, and also I had Sarah Milthorpe. And I think I've converted our group to silk because I sent them a link to several of those products. I'm like, you got to try it. And they were looking at it and went, love how it shimmers. So I think we have some more silk users shortly. So those are the whips that I've been working on. I'm just going to set this here so I need to grab it. Now, last FlossTube, I showed, just checking my notes here. Before I go to this linen, I want to mention an Instagram account, Working With My Needle, because she gave me a nice shout out because she has just started Quaker Dwelling, oh, that's upside down, sorry, with Havana. So be sure to check her out, and I will link that in the description. So Working With My Needle, I can't wait to see her progress, and thank you for your nice shout out. So last FlossTube, I mentioned that I am in a linen club and received this gorgeous piece of 40 count Foxy by Fox and Rabbit. Look at that. It is gorgeous, but I was at kind of a loss to what to use it with because I use more neutral linen. So I wanted to share with you some suggestions. So if you have this color, which is like a bittersweet, or think of, could be a foxtail. I know XJU also has a similar color called glazed carrots. So there's several of these beautiful kind of bittersweet colors out there, but what do you do with it? So I want to show you on my iPad a few, and then I want to show you some I've pulled. So we had some suggestions, and thank you for those that commented, because I did ask for, let me pull this up, some suggestions. Does anybody have ideas? This, and thank you for the suggestions, because now I have added more to my 1, 2, 3 stitch wish list, which is fine. But so this one was suggested, and I did not write who suggested it. I wrote down who it's all by. The comments, take a look at my comments, and thank you for those that gave the suggestions. I can't remember who gave this one, and I didn't write it down. Hold on, I have my notes here, and I apologize. I did not write down who gave me this excellent suggestion. Yes, I did. Yes, I knew I had done that. This was Elizabeth Corsini. Thank you for this. This is Cats on Parade by Blackbird. Absolutely perfect. So that was one suggestion. And then what I did is I just kind of searched for some ideas. So I want to show you that. Now this you've seen. This is Spot the Horse. Now I know it's not on orange, but I'm going to show you something in a minute where I've seen it on an orange type linen. Or actually it's red orange, not really orange. Bittersweet, I think is a better description. So Spot the Horse. We'll look at that on that more bittersweet color. This one, this is American Band Sampler by Scarlet Letter. Look at that. That's just a tad more golden, but I think that that is going to be a really nice option. And I'm getting reflection from my office window, which is across the way, so I apologize for that. This is something that Becky S. recommended, and this is Quaker Welcome. Now, she said she realizes that some of the colors might have to be changed, but I think she's right. Look at that beautiful sampler. And I added that immediately to my wish list. I'm probably going to be purchasing that soon. But that would be gorgeous on that bittersweet color linen. And I think it'd be gorgeous. And I've already purchased, and I meant to grab them. I didn't, but I have a pile of other things to show you. This Quaker Welcome is by Lila Studio, and they also have a, let's see, it'd be spring Quaker and summer Quaker, which I haven't started yet, but I did purchase those. But this is by Lila Studio. Gorgeous. So that's another option. Now, this one is by Lottie Da. This is perfect. This is called Something Wicked. Now look at that. Isn't that fun? That would be perfect for that linen. And here's another one. This one I would make some changes to, but it's beautiful. It's called Gwen by Nora Corbett. Look at that. What I would change is where the green is. If I'm using it on that orangey or bittersweet colored linen, I would change that green to a blue-green, like a teal, like a rich teal. And I think those leaves are red. I'd change those to green. But I think that would be stunning on this linen. I want to show you the linen again before we look at anything else. So I think that would be gorgeous. Here's another one I found. This is Silo Witches by Teresa Corbett. This again, perfect. Look at that. And I could even take some of those motifs and do little pillows. So it could be a whole Quaker, or it could be little motifs. Now this one, the picture isn't great, but this is another perfect one. This is Witch by Lottie Da. I love that. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Ah, I just, that immediately went into my wish list too. And this one is called Midnight Dreamer by Woolly You. Again, look at that. Yeah, get it so we don't get too much reflection. So that would be a beautiful little pillow. And this is another one. This is Halloween Quaker by From the Heart Needle Art. That's beautiful. Might have to change the orangey pumpkin to a little bit different color, because I think the linen in this sample is a little more yellow. But I think that would be another beautiful option. Now, remember I showed you Spot the Horse, which is on probably straw. But look at this linen. This was on the FlossTube Contented Needleworker Kim. And I'll link to that too. And I'm going to make that note. I already said I'd link 2 things. I want to make a note so I don't forget. This was on her wall behind her, and I just took a screenshot of it. I will link to her FlossTube as well. Let's see. It's a little bit more orangey. So Spot the Horse would be gorgeous on this. Now this one, XJU Designs, who has a beautiful orange linen called Glazed Carrots, she posted this on her Instagram, and that's another one I'm going to link to. And I'll put all these in the description. Look at this. Now, you could do that as a runner, but wouldn't that be cute as little pillows? And that's on her Glazed Carrots linen, which is very similar to the Foxy that I have from Fox and Rabbit. Now, this is a totally different color linen, but I can see the Foxy linen being used for this. This is Red Pot, no, sorry, Flowers for You by Jeanette Designs. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? So I can see those flowers on that orangey linen. So that's another one. This is, oh, this is gorgeous. This is Red Pot Cross by Historical Samplers, and I will link that because that's a new shop to me. So I quickly followed that on Etsy. Look at this. Now, if I put this on the orange linen, I would change the color of the floss. But I just wanted to show you. Isn't that a beautiful sampler? Oh, that's pretty. So that's by Historical Sampler. I will link that as well. And one more, before I show you some actual charts that I have that I pulled. This is what the Etsy store looks like. Yes, Red Pot's Cross Stitch. It's available in a download or a booklet. So that's their Etsy page. And the other one I saw, which is by Scattered Seed Samplers, Peace and Plenty. I think that would be beautiful on that orangey linen. So those are some that I found. And then I also was searching in my charts, which was kind of fun because then I found all these things. It's like, oh, forgot I had those. So let me show you those and some of the changes that I would make. So again, this is the linen we're looking at. And so the first one that I saw, that I had as I went through everything, by Lottie Da, this is called ABCD. Now, the linen, I think that they're calling for, it actually says it's Havana, but it looks more like straw to me. But that would be fun on this Foxy linen. So it's calling for, the thread it's calling for in the pattern is just black, 310 black. But to me, let's see if I can see that. Yeah, to me that is, let me try like this, is a little stark. So I pulled a couple other ones that I thought I would like better. These are by Weeks, Grapevine, and Tatanka. They're not quite as stark. And let me fold this. I was going to set up another camera, but I think I can hold it and show you. Yeah. So this is Grapevine, and this is Tatanka. So rather than the 310, I think I would do one of these. And that is for the Lottie Da pattern. So that's one that I saw that I'm actually thinking might be very interesting. Set those there. Here's another one. I pulled the threads. This is by Scarlet House, Autumn Alphabet. This is on a horn book, and this is on Mocha. but I can see this on that orangey linen. I keep saying orangey, it's Foxy. So the colors that it's called for are Pollywog, Pumpkin Patch, and I added some of mine in there, Caramel Corn. Now, it calls for Caterpillar, Ginger Snap, Pollywog, Nutmeg. So I pulled a few other ones because the pumpkin on here is orange, which is Nutmeg. And it may show up, actually looking at it, I think it shows up pretty well because I thought maybe I would change it to a white pumpkin. But let me just show you. So these are, I think I can hold this up. These actually look gorgeous. Yeah, look at that. So which one is the pumpkin? This one. That one actually shows up pretty well. So I don't know if I would change anything. I might just use the called for on that. So that's another one I'm thinking of, and that really is pretty. That'd be pretty on a dark horn book. Now this one is just a one color. It's by Willow Hill Sampling. I Practice Stitch Craft. And it was using 310 DMC, but I pulled this grapevine from Weeks that I think would be fun because the 310 just looked a little stark. So that's another one that I'm thinking of. And am I going to start these soon? I don't know. I pulled so many things, it's like, I don't know now. I'm kind of all over the place. Now, let me show you here. This one is Old Crow Sampler. And it actually uses Autumn Field Vintage Belfast, 32 count, which, did I get that? I purchased this. I purchased Woodland, which is gorgeous. Now, let's see. So I'm thinking that this could also be on this linen. And the color, it just uses one. It uses Weeks. I pulled a couple. I'm not sure which one it used. Well, I have the bag right here. It used Onyx, which I'll show you Onyx, and then I also pulled one other. So here's Onyx. And I also pulled Charcoal. Wow, they're similar. Very similar. One's just a tad lighter. The charcoal's just a tad lighter. So on the original one, it was that. Let me flip it. So I'm thinking Old Crow would be an option. So I haven't decided yet. I already have the linen, the trim for this, so I may just keep that as is. But I still thought that was a good option. Let me show you a couple more, because as you can see, some of these are Halloweenish, but it doesn't have to be on that linen. Now this one is Quaker Garden by Hello from Liz Matthews. And I'm thinking, well, could do a pillow, could take some of these motifs and put on the Foxy Linen. Now this particular pattern, this pillow is done on, this one is, can I see it? No. Let me check. I had all these things all laid out. This is Cypress, which to me looked so different. This one has a little more blue in it. And there we go. If you see, there is some kind of blue in it. So probably I would stitch it up over in here. And the floss that it's used is called for is this. So I thought, you know, I could do that pillow with that. So that's one option. And the other piece, the Quaker Garden Sampler, which it was done on corn husk, which I couldn't find. So I think it just says white. And it has this beautiful blue. I loved that together. So I will probably keep these things since I've got them all together, but I'm thinking some of these motifs would be gorgeous on the Foxy Linen. So that's another option. And I know that several floss tubers have talked about that, looking at your charts and pulling things from it. I did that with my Humming of the Bees. I pulled another little motif to fill in an area from one of the other Blackbird charts. And so you certainly can do that. Now this one, it looks like straw, Havana straw. This one is Flowers for Beatrice by Lottie Da. And what I'm thinking, not the whole sampler, but look at the flowers. This is the whole sampler, but look at the flowers. Wouldn't that be beautiful on this Foxy Linen? And here's some of the floss. And I think that would be a gorgeous little pin pillow. Look at, and this one I might keep out. Look at how beautiful that is. So that is Flowers for You by Lottie Da. And I'm looking at just the little flowers. Oh, that is so pretty. So I'm thinking that's a contender. I think I'm gonna lay that on the other side here because I might pull that right away. Now here's another one that it's two color, Modern Folk Embroidery. How Doth the Little Busy Bee. It's a pin cushion. And I actually have the linen and the floss. So I'll probably do that as I've got it kitted, but I'm thinking, look at the little bee skip. Wouldn't that be fun done on this linen? And I pulled a couple of different flosses. I've pulled cocoa. These I think are all weeks. Cocoa, juniper, see, oh, and I'll put on the linen. Cocoa, juniper, tarragon, twilight. Ooh, that's a nice one. And Oscar. And I would just do one of them, but I'm just showing you how different they all look. So it's personal choice which one that I would do. This one looks really pretty. So does this one and that one. So I'd have to kind of look at that, but I think that might be a nice option to do this little motif as a little pin cushion, or just even a little framed piece. Yeah, just a couple more to show you. Now this one, I gotta grab my color wheel here. This one is by Hands On Design, totally different. These are little pillows of quilting designs, and it's called Triple Play Pillows. But I thought, wouldn't that be fun to do on the Foxy Linen? Now, I would have to change some of the floss. So I'm going to lay some out here to show you the colors that I pulled. Because if you look at this, I'll hold this up while I'm getting that. If you look at that, there is orange. So I couldn't use orange on orange, but I could substitute, which is what I did. So I just pulled some different weeks and Gentle Arts. Okay, take a look here. Isn't that fun? Now, one thing I wanted to mention, look at the colors, clear colors. Think of Caribbean colors, the blues and the greens. So I pulled brighter colors, and then I thought it might be fun to add a pop of magenta in there. I'm not sure. Now I'm looking at it, I'm not sure I like that. But that's where I would just play with it. But I did like that combination. So that's another idea of taking a design, pulling some of the colors and then switching them around. And the last one that I want to show you is, and actually I want to show you the color wheel, because on these linens that or these threads that I just showed you, how did I come up with those ideas on this linen? Well, if you take a look at the pattern, I kind of started with that, but a color wheel is helpful. So what I did is I looked at my main color, and I've had this since the 70s, this color wheel. So here's the red-orange. One thing I did is went across to see what the complementary color was, and it's blue-green. So I did pull a blue-green, but then I also pulled some colors on either side of the complement. So I pulled some green, and then I also pulled a little yellow-green, and then I pulled some blue. I did not go into the purple. So here is the complement would be blue-green. Then I pulled some blue. Okay, so that's there. Then I pulled some green. And then here's some yellow-green. That'll be the last two. So that's how I pulled the colors, and then there was a gray in there. So looking at the color wheel, my linen is red-orange. I went across the color wheel to the complement, which is blue-green, and then I pulled some colors. I pulled this, but I pulled some colors from the analogous. That just means the colors next to it. So went these two and this one. So that's how I came up with it. And sometimes if I just don't know what color to put together, pull out the color wheel and it helps me. So I really like that combination. So I may just make a note of that. Now I also saw this one, which I was thinking about this linen. This is the last one I'll show you in this linen, and then I'll show you some haul. This is Sarah Allen 1814. Look at that. This is by Needlework Press. Yes. Look at that. And I thought, ooh, that's kind of a grade version of this. But then I started thinking about, because I was going to pull colors for it, but then I started thinking about my Quaker Dwelling, and it's on Havana. And I had a piece of Havana left from what I cut off of that. So here's that piece of Havana, and I thought I know this is a little more brown, but I thought, Havana might really be pretty. So I pulled some of the threads it called for, and I didn't have all of the hand dyed, so I also pulled some DMC. I'm a little concerned about this one. Let me show you the DMCs. You see that? So I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure. Now that I'm seeing it with more natural light, I might go to a more cocoa color rather than the Havana. Actually, I'm just going to put it against this. I just love this sampler. And if you look down in the corner, right here, you can see the model. Let me just pull up this Foxy and see how these colors look on here. No. Nope. 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 when I'm picking fabrics for a quilt and I just say, nope, 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 means no. So I did think of that, but I don't think that will work. But I do love this. And I'm not sure now about the Havana. This piece of Havana is looking a little more green. I'm gonna have to think about that because I do love this little sampler. So I know last time when I was doing the linen comparison, I had one that was kind of brown. Might pull that. So I'm gonna set that aside and play with that a little more. So let's see, we've looked at some ideas for the Foxy Linen. We've looked at my works in progress. Looked at the color wheel. I've got some haul to show you, which I've been waiting for a couple of these. And, okay, let me get it spread out here. What is this over here? Oh, that's, I keep going back to that one. Boy, that one might be a new start. So I didn't get any linen this time. I did get some charts. And this is something I've been looking at for a long time. And I got it from Handwork Boutique in the Netherlands. And that's not how you say it, but I can't pronounce it in, I guess it would be Dutch, but it is Handwork Boutique. And I will post, link that. But they have, by Historic Stickmeister, which, I looked that up what that meant, and now I can't remember, but I know you've seen this. These are American houses. Look at these. And I'm doing the houses of Hawk Run Hollow, but I love these too. Look at those. And I like how this is long here. They're not square. They're rectangular, they're square. So those of you that are in Europe, Handwork Boutique. But the fun thing is I just saw that Colorado Cross Stitcher is carrying these. So that's a place you could get them if you're in the United States. So I purchased that. I also purchased from Handwork Boutique American Gardens, which is the companion. And look at that. Isn't that, it looks like this top one might be Mount Vernon. I'm not sure. I need to look at it a little more. Look at that. Those would be gorgeous pin pillows too. I guess it isn't, now I'm looking, I guess that isn't Mount Vernon, but it does look similar, kind of. But I love that, and gorgeous. And then I saw this, which is Quaker Hometown. I just love Quakers, obviously, because I keep showing them to you. So that's the title, look at that. It's just gorgeous. So I was excited to get those 3 charts. And I think all 3 of those are also available at Colorado Cross Stitch. And I also got Lucy Navier card. So those all came just recently from the Netherlands. So it was kind of fun to get that package. And then I saw, and some of you may have seen this too, so it may not be new news, but Blackbird is reprinting some of their patterns. So this is one that I could not get. I could get the winter, I could get the autumn, but I could not get the summer. So I ordered all of them. So here's the summer, and they all go together. Let me see if I can show you the, I know I saw it. Here it is. This is all 3 of them together. This is the winter booklet, but look at what else, and this was fun. I didn't know this. Look at what else is in the winter booklet. So you get those extra projects with this little section of winter. Here is the autumn, which is the middle one right here. So you get the middle section, but you also get, look at this, I love that. I was so excited because I thought I was just getting one chart, and each one of these booklets has 3 charts in it. And I think they were just $8.99. So that's like $3 a chart. That's great. Here is the summer. And it has these 2 extra charts. Let me see if there's, I don't want to show the chart. I just want to see, make sure that I don't show you a, yeah, it's on the back here. So I did purchase those 3, and there's quite a few different retailers that have them. I purchased these from 123 Stitch, but I know Cecilia's, is it Needlework in Little Rock? She has it. I've seen several newsletters that have these available now. This is something else that's been reprinted that I ordered, Away We Ride. I was actually thinking that might work on the Foxy Linen, but I just love that for a fall, or it says, away we ride till it's dark as pitch to find the home of the wicked witch. So that'd be fun to put out at Halloween. So ordered that one, and that's just that chart. Yeah, I'm going to show you in the center. And then this one I have looked at forever, and for a while it was out of print, and now it's back, or maybe it wasn't out of print. I just couldn't find it. Every time I went to order it, it was out. Feast of Friendships. I know many of you have done it. I just love the cornucopia or the bowl. I love the house. Here's a little close-up. Love that blue house. So this is Feast of Friendships. So those were all by Blackbird. And then I ordered or received one more, and I didn't realize that this is a set of 3. So now, what's that mean? I gotta go back and get the other 2. This is By the Bay Needlework. This is Old Sea Captain's House. So there's the title. Look at that. So it says, this is the 3rd of a series of 3 designs. Each can be stitched separately or together. Each has a theme of 3 words to live by. This one is hope, courage, trust. So I'll hold that up so you can see. So that is by Donna Bayless. Now I've got to go back and find the other 2 and look at them, and at least put them in my wish list so I don't lose them, so I remember. So I'm just looking at all my notes here. We've looked at haul, we've looked at work in progress, we've looked at different ideas for that beautiful Foxy Linen. I think that might be it. Now I have charts and threads everywhere. But what am I going to be working on between now and when I see you next time? Well, I'm going to be, like I said, this is Wednesday. You'll see this Friday or Saturday. I'll be gone that Saturday that this is uploaded for a very special trip, which I'll talk about next time. So what I'm going to be working on pretty much, unless I start something new, for the next 2 weeks till I see you again, I'm going to work on Sarah Milthorpe some more, and I'll probably start something new. Although I do have some things that are close to being done too that I might pull out. I don't know. I got so excited about pulling out all these charts to show you that linen. Now I'm all like over the place what to do. I'm sure none of you have that problem. So I will focus. But this one is so close. I was looking at this motif and I realized I didn't finish that. So I've got to do that. I've got a lone motif over here to add. I got one motif down there to add the windows and a little bit of brick and lots of mortar. So I'll be working on that, and I do love this. So I hope to have this finished. I don't know if I'll, you know, I always get over excited and think, oh yeah, it'll take me an afternoon. This is going to take a little more than an afternoon, but I might be able to get it done. So I don't think I'll get Sarah done. I know I won't, because there's a lot left to do on her. Let me show you what's left on her. Got these big trees in the bottom and the rest of the over one. So that'll be a little bit yet, but the Quaker Dwelling, let me show you the chart, not much left. So that one I may try to get done before I see you next time. So I think that's it. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope it wasn't too much floss and charts, but really, can we ever see too many? I know when I look at people's floss tubes, and again, thank you for all of those that you make floss tubes. I just enjoy sitting and watching the inspiration and showing charts that I had not seen before, or seeing someone work on something and I think, oh, look how gorgeous that is. I am going to start that now. So I want to thank you for that. I hope you've enjoyed the inspiration today. Please comment if you have any questions. Let me know what you thought. I know last time I did the linen comparison and had a lot of wonderful comments on that. And I may do some more of that. I find that helpful for myself, especially if you're looking at a linen and you can't find it, what could be a good substitute. So we may do another linen comparison soon. As far as next floss tube, I don't know. I always, think, what am I going to do the next time? And then all these things come up. So it's kind of fun to think about each one. But I'm just looking around. I don't think I have anything else to share with you today. So as always, I want to thank you for joining me. And until next time, happy stitching and be well.